The sky didn't warn anyone. It just erupted. 38 missiles, not 2, not 10, but 38, screaming upward from concealed launch sites scattered across Iran's southern coastline, their exhaust trails carving white scars against the black canvas of night. Each one locked onto a single target, one American B-52H Stratofortress, cruising 70 nautical miles offshore in neutral waters, its 8 engines droning steadily, its crew unaware that in the next breath they would become the flashpoint for something the world hadn't seen in decades. This wasn't a skirmish, this wasn't posturing, this was a military engagement that would redefine modern warfare doctrine, and the clock was already ticking. 02:18 a.m. The threat display in the cockpit didn't just light up, it detonated. 38 hostile tracks materialized simultaneously, each one climbing at velocities that defied human reaction time. The electronic warfare officer's voice cut through the cockpit. Missile launch, multiple launches, we are painted. Every system aboard the bomber screamed in unison, a mechanical chorus that translated to one primal message: you are being hunted. The pilot's fingers tightened around the control yoke, pulse thundering. Iran had just crossed a threshold. They'd fired on an American bomber in international airspace. This was a calculated military action with consequences no one had fully anticipated. 800 miles away, in a bunker beneath Tehran, the Iranian command watched the attack unfold across glowing displays. Each green line represented a missile climbing toward the solitary red icon of the American bomber. The strategy was based on a straightforward calculation: overwhelm American defenses with numerical superiority, force Washington into a difficult position. The assessment had been clear: 38 missiles against one target creates a saturation scenario. Their defensive systems will be tested to their limits. The missiles, a mix of Russian-supplied S-300s and Iran's domestically engineered Bavar 373s, representing years of military investment, were already punching through 40,000 feet. 38 shots, one target. Officers monitored the trajectories, each aware they'd initiated an engagement that would have global ramifications. They had 18 minutes before the situation would change completely. 02:19 a.m. 90 miles to the west, aboard an E-3 Sentry AWACS circling above the Gulf, the threat board transformed into a constellation of red. Vampire! Vampire! Multiple SAM launches! The air battle manager's hands moved with practiced urgency as data streamed outward to every American asset within a 300-mile radius. Missile types cataloged, trajectories plotted, threat priorities assigned, intercept geometries calculated. The American defensive network activated, a vast, interconnected system responding with programmed efficiency. 12 operators worked in choreographed silence, each managing a different dimension of the aerial battlefield. The AWACS had become the central nervous system of the defensive response, transforming sensor data into coordinated action. Every pilot, every fire control officer, every ship commander received the identical tactical picture: 38 inbound weapons, prioritized by threat level, with optimal engagement solutions calculated to the microsecond. This was network-centric warfare, information superiority translated into defensive capability. 02:19 a.m. The USS Destroyer responded according to protocol. Batteries free, engage all hostile tracks. The destroyer's vertical launch system erupted. Boom, boom, boom. 18 SM-6 interceptors clawing skyward in rapid sequence. Simultaneously, the B-52 pilot executed a defensive maneuver, 8 engines howling as the bomber changed altitude and heading. The defensive suite deployed countermeasures, jamming pulses, radar decoys, infrared flares designed to break missile locks. Mayday! Mayday! Aircraft under attack! International waters! The engagement was now documented and witnessed.
02:22 a.m. First interception occurred at 41 miles. The SM-6 interceptors met climbing Iranian missiles at combined velocities exceeding Mach 7. The night sky lit up. 9 Iranian weapons were neutralized, but 29 missiles continued their flight path, still tracking their target. What happened next demonstrated the capabilities gap in modern air warfare. 6 F-22 Raptors, operating with minimal radar signature, armed their weapons. Raptor flight, sort targets, weapons free. The formation split with precision, each pilot selecting missiles still in boost phase. Fox 3, AIM-120D missiles launched, engaging targets at extended range. 12 more Iranian missiles were eliminated, 17 remaining. 4 F-35 Lightning IIs launched from the carrier strike group positioned to the south joined the defensive effort. Their weapons systems engaged. AIM-120s and AIM-9Xs released, each weapon guided by networked targeting data. 8 more successful intercepts. 9 missiles left in flight. 02:21 a.m. The bomber crew tracked the remaining threats. 9 contacts still converging. Range 14 miles. The co-pilot's breathing was controlled but tense. Throughout the aircraft, the crew executed their training, each member aware of the situation's gravity. The defensive systems deployed a final chaff cloud. 3 missiles lost target lock, impacting the ocean. 6 remained. Range closing 10 miles, then 8, then 6. Viper flight, you're cleared hot. The F-16 pilots responded immediately. Afterburners engaged. Fox 2, AIM-19X Sidewinders launched. 4 more Iranian missiles were intercepted. 2 remained. Range 4 miles. 02:22 a.m. An SM-6 from a second destroyer, launched minutes earlier on a calculated trajectory, reached its terminal phase. Successful intercept. 1 missile remaining. Range 2 miles. The final SM-6 descended toward its target. Lock achieved. Detonation. The explosion's shockwave reached the B-52, debris impacting the aircraft's exterior, but the bomber remained airborne and operational. All threats neutralized. 38 missiles launched. 38 missiles intercepted. 0 casualties. In Tehran's command bunker, displays showed an outcome that contradicted expectations. Every track eliminated. The Air Defense Coordinator's voice held disbelief. We're detecting inbound strike aircraft. Warning systems activated. The defensive engagement had transitioned to something else entirely. 02:23 a.m. In Washington's National Military Command Center, communications with the president were immediate. Sir, Iranian forces engaged a U.S. bomber with 38 missiles. Our defensive systems intercepted all threats. 0 casualties. Strike packages are prepared. 8 launch sites identified, awaiting authorization. The response was succinct. Authorization granted. 02:27 a.m. 4 F-22 Raptors crossed into Iranian airspace at high altitude, their low observable characteristics allowing undetected penetration. AGM-88E anti-radiation missiles launched at extended range. Within 90 seconds, 8 Iranian air defense radar installations ceased transmitting. Iran's radar coverage developed significant gaps. In the Tehran bunker, display screens went dark. Site 4 not responding. Site 6. Communications were interrupted. The situation had evolved beyond the initial engagement. 02:29 a.m. The strike package arrived.
16 F-15E Strike Eagles and 8 F-35s approached at low altitude using terrain masking. Each of the 8 identified launch sites had been designated for engagement. GBU-31 JDAM guided bombs for launcher platforms, AGM-154 standoff weapons for command vehicles, GBU-39 bombs for supporting infrastructure. Strike timing was synchronized. Impact occurred simultaneously at 8 locations. Launcher platforms were destroyed in precision strikes. Command facilities sustained catastrophic damage. Missile reload vehicles and support equipment were eliminated. Personnel at these sites experienced the full effects of modern precision-guided munitions. Iran's investment in these defense systems, representing billions in resources and years of development, was functionally eliminated under 1 minute. Command staff watched their network status. Site 1, offline. Site 2, no contact. Site 3, destroyed. Site 4, critical damage. Site 5, offline. Site 6, no signal. Site 7, destroyed. Site 8, no communication. Every platform that had launched missiles, neutralized. Every radar, eliminated. Every command facility, destroyed or abandoned.
02:35 a.m. 18 minutes. From initial missile launch to complete strike package execution, 18 minutes. American aircraft egressed Iranian airspace without any effective defensive engagement. The air defense network had been systematically degraded. 03:02 a.m. At Al Udeid Air Base, the B-52 completed its landing. The crew exited the aircraft, physically unharmed but processing the adrenaline aftermath. Behind them, satellite imagery documented 8 locations showing thermal signatures of fires and secondary explosions that would continue for hours. The White House released a formal statement. Iranian military forces launched 38 missiles at a U.S. bomber operating in international airspace. American defensive systems successfully intercepted all threats, resulting in 0 casualties. Subsequently, U.S. forces conducted precision strikes against the 8 installations responsible. This action demonstrates our capability and resolve to protect American personnel operating lawfully in international space. Iranian official media took hours before issuing statements referring to infrastructure damage during military operations. Specific details of 38 failed intercepts and 8 destroyed facilities were absent from public communications. In Beijing, Moscow, and Pyongyang, military analysts observed and assessed. The engagement had demonstrated integrated capabilities, coordination between satellite reconnaissance, airborne early warning systems, naval platforms, and combat aircraft functioning as a networked system. Each component had fed information to the next, creating defensive and offensive capability that operated faster than traditional command structures could match.
Chinese military planners documented the engagement's timeline. Russian defense analysts noted the technological sophistication demonstrated. North Korean military leadership reviewed satellite documentation and understood their own defensive systems faced similar vulnerabilities. Iran's strategic calculation had been based on an assumption that America would weigh regional stability concerns against responding to an attack on a single aircraft. The calculation proved incorrect. The engagement revealed a fundamental aspect of modern military doctrine. Contemporary warfare operates at speeds where information superiority, decision-making velocity, and precision strike capability combine to create outcomes that unfold faster than traditional responses can process. 38 missiles launched. 18 minutes later, 8 facilities no longer operational.
The broader implications weren't found in physical destruction alone. They existed in how regional powers and global competitors reassessed their assumptions about military capabilities, about the threshold for response, about the distance between provocation and consequence. The balance of power hadn't shifted. It had been clearly demonstrated through action rather than stated through policy. The aftermath testified to a principle that transcends technology. In military conflict, success requires achieving your objective. Iran launched an attack that failed to reach its target. The counter-operation achieved every designated objective. By dawn, the evidence was documented through multiple intelligence sources. Modern warfare capabilities have evolved to where precision, speed, and integrated operations create decisive advantages that conventional defenses struggle to counter. The lesson wasn't about superiority, it was about capability and consequence, demonstrated through action, observed internationally, and understood by all parties analyzing the engagement's progression from initial provocation to final outcome.